I'm about to share a theory with you that I think will be really, really helpful for you. And I've been reluctant to share this in the past, but I've been thinking about this for the past couple of weeks. And I've been reluctant mainly because I don't want it to be used as an excuse. But as I share this, my goal is that it does a couple things. One, hopefully it gives you a little bit more peace of mind of where you're at right now. Two, ideally it gives you a little bit more hope for what the summer is going to look like for the rest of the summer for you. And then three, with that hope, hopefully it switches your paradigm, your mindset, so that you go choose to make this summer a great summer. Because I think that you have the capacity to, and if you're here, might as well, right? So I've been looking at the production, and production is slower than usual. It's a slower start than we've normally had. And if I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, what do we need to go fix? Because if I can go diagnose it correctly, then we can go solve it. Because the thing is, I am very confident in the way that I run a program. I am very confident in it. And the reason being is because, one, I've done it year over year to the point where I know that if I do this, then I'll get this. And it's founded on the same general principles that Jason Walton created this program on 25, 26 years ago, that Tim Hedrick went and built the program on and continually expanded on, right? And so I'm very confident in the fact that the way that they run it, the foundational system that was already in place, and the way that I've continually fine-tuned certain processes, I get the results. The same way that if you just ran a 6-minute mile this morning and I said, hey, how confident are you that you could go run an 8-minute mile? Your confidence would probably be 100%. That is how I feel when I say, how confident are you that you can go get the results? If you're seeing this situation, for most situations, I feel pretty dang confident that I can go get the end results, right? And so what I'm running into right now is, and I'm going to go expand it. So I'm going to start with my branch. I go run the branch. I'm running Charlotte, and I'm doing certain things that typically produce certain results, and they're not producing the same results. It's been a slower start for rookies in my branch. And it's been a slower start for sophomores. It's been a slower start for experienced reps. And so I go look at that, and then I look across all of my branches on the East Coast. And this was the first April in the past 5 or 6 years that we didn't have at least one person have a 10-day. And so I'm like, dang, what is going on? Because it's not a specific, what am I doing in my branch? And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's organizationally. Maybe I need to go change something there. Then I look across the whole company, and it is a slower start, right? Like the top rookie in April this year, not a bad month, but compared to what they have been in previous years, I mean, there's some rookies that have done almost that in a week. And so that's like, my mind is like, okay, dang, like this is a company-wide thing, right? And so the way that I feel about it, if we're going to the 6-minute mile thing, it's if I can do a 6-minute mile every single time, and I go run this track, a different track, and my mile time is now 8:20. I think, dang, what is going on? Because I've run a 6-minute mile so many times, my confidence is so high that it's not a panic. It's not a, dang, why am I just out of shape? Like, what the freak just happened? It's not that. It's actually more of a, is the timer broken? Like, what is the track like? Oh, turns out like I'm increasing 2,000 feet in this 1 mile. Okay, that makes sense why my mile is a lot shorter, right? Like, so it's looking at those, and that's what I'm looking for right now, because it's just different. It's just a different scenario. So let's go across it, because if I'm looking at why is this a slower start for everybody else, then I have a couple different theories, right? And so you start with the basic theory of rain or cold, and okay, some of the branches are experiencing a little more rain than they previously had. Well, that being said, we have rain every year. We've had years where there's like 2 dry days in the month. So it doesn't really solve it, and that for sure doesn't solve it across the whole country, right? Because not every country or not every state is that rainy. Some are. Maybe it's a little more rainy, but in reality, that's just an obstacle, and we have people that go sell 10, 15 a day in the rain. If there was a tournament time, middle of the summer, whether it's raining or not, those that are going to sell get sales, right? And so there's that part. There's the new markets. We have people selling in new markets that they haven't sold. That is another obstacle. I do think that makes you a better salesman because now you have to go learn how to go sell in a new place, right? You have to go sell to different people and just figure out what pests people actually are willing to go pay a service for. And you have to go say, okay, are these people shorter with me or whatever it is? And you have to go adapt your approach to the people in the different cities, right? So yeah, that's a little learning curve. Doesn't explain across the whole country because we have people that are still selling in similar branches that they've been selling in the past. And so, and then I look at like the new leadership, right? Because just like for a rookie, it's a punch in the nose phase. If you're a second year rep, you're thinking, yeah, I've already figured this out. So this should be an easier summer. But that's not the case. That's and you have to go put in more effort to go get sales. And so there's a punch in the nose phase there. For a first year team leader, there's a punch in the nose phase, learning how to go manage people, go help everybody. For a first year manager, running the whole branch, that also is difficult. And yes, I think we have more leaders. We have a lot more new leaders, which that could be a variable. That doesn't always impact sales lower. It's just a growth stage, right? And two is we have plenty of experienced reps running branches that have had good results in the past that are having slower results now. So it doesn't solve that. The one theory that I think is a little bit more accurate, but it's not the theory that I would say is the reason why we're having a little bit less momentum, but it's a strong theory, is there's less pest pressure. This year, in this spring, my understanding is we've had less people call in for a reservice into the call center across the country than we have in previous years. So this spring, what that means is we've had a little bit less pest pressure. And so, which means that, yeah, that's a good theory, but in reality, it takes what it takes, right? So when in years like that, because we've had months like that, we've had top salesmen go sell in March and April. There's not as many pests in March and April. You have to be a better salesman, right? Yes, it's easier to sell when everybody's seeing a bunch of bugs. So it forces you to be a little bit better salesman. So I like that idea because maybe it's a little bit harder learning curve. I think that compounds on my theory, but it's not the reason. I don't think that's the thing that's holding us back and slowing down our momentum. Here's what I think. I think the number one reason why we have had a slower start than normal and why it's been a little bit harder to go gain traction is because of the economic uncertainty. And when I say that, I'm talking about the fact that at the very start of the summer, the stock market crashed, right? Crashed for just a couple days and then it bounced back up. What does that do to anybody that has a 401k that is getting paid off of a 401k? They think, I just lost half my money. Oh, it came back. Well, dang, I don't know if that's going to happen again, right? So if you're looking at economic uncertainty, that was just one part of it, but obviously there's a bunch of different things happening in the country right now and that people are uncertain about the future, right? So the uncertainty is what's going to happen to my dollar, right? What that doesn't mean, and I want you to understand this, that does not mean that there is less money or less people to go sell. That doesn't mean that people have less money. It doesn't mean that people have lower buying power, because that's not the case. I'm saying uncertainty. I'm not saying a contraction in the economy. I'm not saying that there's a bunch of layoffs, because I don't think there's more layoffs now than there have been in the past. I'm not saying that people can't actually afford it, although you will get that excuse, and I'll tell you why in a second. I'm not even saying that anything about a recession or anything like that. I'm not talking about a contraction. And it's not obviously the expansion. That is what I'm saying. It's not the expansion where people want to go spend their money willingly and just throw it around, because that's what happens with an expanding economy. But I am saying that there is the uncertainty. And so it's just like when you go to the store, you're a little kid, and you ask your mom for a toy, and your mom says, oh, I can't afford that. What is she saying? can she really not pay for that $20 toy, even though she's going to go buy a Diet Coke right after she leaves the store? No, that's not what she's saying, right? She's actually saying that that is not worth my money right now. And that is the battle that you have to go deal with. So let me tell you this. If this theory is correct, and I want you to get this in your mind, then there's two things. One, from this summer, if you choose to let this mold you, we will have some of the best salesmen that have ever come from Moxie. And two is if you let this mold you, then you personally, regardless, you will go increase your capacity, go do harder things in the future. That is true. Hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. If it is hard times, in terms of, it's not even hard times, we're not in a depression, we're not in a recession, it's just uncertainty, then you have to go increase your capacity to go sell, right? So now let's compound everything that we just talked about. All those other variables, they are variables. They're not the reason why we're slowing down. We have, why we are starting a lot slower, but they are variables, right? So let's look at it. If you can go sell when there's uncertainty, and you can go build so much certainty in the quality of our service and what we are providing that it is worthwhile, regardless of anything else, that they should spend their money here, not on food storage or not on gold or not on a different investment, right? They're wanting to spend their money on pest control, then you are a better salesman. Now, if there's less pest pressure, which that happens, is life, now you have to go sell on the fact that not only is this a worthwhile service, but even if you're not seeing a ton right now, when you see some, that you have to go sell them on that, then this preventative service is worthwhile, right? This is a premium service. You want to buy from me now rather than the cheap pest control company that's going to come by later. So there's that. So the thing is, you will be able to go increase your capacity to go sell. Now, let me go look at the fact that I haven't had anybody like in April in the past 5 or 6 years where there wasn't a single person that sold 10 in a day. And that happened. And so I look at it. A couple weeks ago, I had somebody go sell 10 on Monday. Now, here's another thing. The 4-minute mile theory is very, very much in play. And this is in play only when it's a mental barrier, right? You're stopping yourself in your head. You're not putting in the effort that you need. It's not the fact that your body's not capable of doing the 4-minute mile. Like a lot of people broke it right afterwards. But what happened right after that person sold 10 in a day? Within the next 8 selling days, basically the next week, in my personal organization, I had 3 people go sell 10. And almost every single day, I had multiple people sell 7, 8, 9 in a day. Within that next week, 2 weeks. So what does that mean? It means that we're just holding ourselves back. So here's the principles that are true. If you want to go sell 1 to 3 a day, these principles have not changed. Work ethic, go work your freaking butt off. Persistence, be a lot more persistent. And then third one is be happy, right? Those 3 principles will get you sales. What do we mean by persistence? Before, maybe it's like 5, 7 objections after price. It's not, those are principles, right? So those are just ways that we've measured it. If it takes more effort, then it's not just that. Working harder, if you're looking at that principle, that doesn't just mean knock more doors, right? And so it's go figure out what that means for you that will get you sales, because those 3 principles are true. If you can go follow those 3 principles, then beforehand, maybe you could have gotten sales if you were okay at those 3 things. Be better. Let this summer mold you. Let this summer help you be a better person, a better version of yourself. Honestly, I think this is one of the best opportunities that we have because, yes, this was a slower start. I don't think that we've had a slower start for rookies ever in April. Ever. And so if that's the case, it's go figure out what we need to go change to make this summer a win. I want to look at a couple different things. Even though some people don't have the best accounts that they've had ever in previous summers, and some people do, by the way, but revenue-wise, I think it's increasing. It's like, what can you go do? One, you have to go sell on value anyways. If there's uncertainty, you have to sell on value rather than price, right? So what should you go do? Increase your contract values. You increase your contract values in 3 ways: higher initials, higher recurring price, or more treatments. I think that bi-monthly treatments, I think it's a phenomenal idea. I really do. I think it's worthwhile. And it makes it so that they get less recurring treatment. Like, they don't have to call into the office when they see bugs. And I think that it makes it so that the customer's more satisfied. Like, I think it's a phenomenal idea. But regardless, one way or the other, go find a way to add value, because you're selling on value anyways, to increase your price. Because once again, there isn't less money in the economy right now. That is not the problem. The problem is it takes what it takes, and what you thought it would take to go get sales is wrong. And it could be because us leaders, we didn't know what we were going into with the economy. Like, I'll own that. I had no idea that the economy was going to drop. I had no idea that Trump was going to go talk about tariffs. And I'm not saying that there's anything good or bad about anything that's happening in the economy, right? It doesn't matter. That doesn't affect your sales. The only thing is perception for the customers. And if their perception is good or bad, I don't know, but I don't know what's going to happen. So, like, I'm just going to hoard my cash a little bit. Be a better salesman. That is the end result. If you take anything from this, go evaluate your effort. Go evaluate what you're doing. Are you doing what it takes? Because there are rookies in my organization that will probably start breaking 20 in a week. And we had a rookie in the company that broke 20 last week. Is that a slower start? Have we had rookies? I've had rookies in the past that have sold 20 the first week. Yes. I think this was probably one of the first summers that I've ever seen in the company that we didn't have at least one rookie in the company sell 20 in their first week. And I could be off, by the way. Maybe there was one rookie this year. But in my organization, there's typically at least one rookie that sells 20 within his first week, maybe first 3 weeks, right? So go figure out what it takes for you. Go figure out what you need to go do to change, to go be better. Because if you choose to let the summer mold you, I promise you, you will be a better salesman. Go make the more difficult times, go allow those to increase your capacity. Go be a better salesman and a better man, better woman, better version of yourself.